So, wow. You guys, uh, yeah. I don't even know what to say or like how to start this off. Um, so I figured I'd do a video. I was going to try to write something out because I'm like terrible at these things, but I'd also am like trying to do 50 billion things at once. Um, so I figured I'd just kind of like impromptu it. So anyway, I'll kind of summarize things a little bit. So I had a article written or posted today that I wrote about something that happened basically a couple weeks ago, whatever, in February, about how a cop had harassed my husband and I outside of Olive Garden. Basically, if you haven't read the article, what had happened was my husband and I had pulled into Olive Garden. And again, like, I'm summarizing here, so don't like sit here and like nitpick every little thing, which I know you guys love to do. We pulled into Olive Garden and we used my handicap placard because I'm the one who's handicapped. And in the article, I did not state my handicap because, again, it is nobody's business what my handicap is. As in this video, you can probably tell I have a heart condition. So I just recently had open heart surgery. Luckily, I have celebrated my 6-month anniversary since my open heart surgery. I am starting to do better. I am able to go back to work, luckily. This is my 3rd open heart surgery. And I've had, I think, 7 others. I don't know, I have lost count at this point. That is one of my disabilities. I have other disabilities. But my disability is invisible because usually you cannot see my scar. So, I am able to walk around and everything, luckily. But my disability prevents me from different things, and that's why I have a handicap placard. So when I pulled up to Olive Garden, and my husband was the one who was pulling up. Sorry, guys, I'm heating up food right now. When he pulled up to Olive Garden, we noticed that there was I'm not sure if it was a cop or a sheriff. I'm not sure, but he was kind of like hanging out there. I assumed he was probably checking license plates. I don't know. But we pulled up into the handicap spot and walked into Olive Garden. He flashed his light at my husband while he was getting out of the car, and then I guess I was sitting there like waiting in the car or whatever, trying to get my stuff together because it takes me forever to get out of the damn car, which drives my husband insane. But that's me. It just takes me forever because it takes me a while to get out of the damn car. And so while he was waiting, the cop flashed his lights at my husband, or his little flashlight. And so then I got out of the car, and my husband told me what had happened. And I was like, that's weird. Maybe he was looking for someone. Who knows what's going on. So then we get into the Olive Garden, and we get a little number thing, those little like vibrating little number things. It sounds weird, but you know. So that's happening. And after that, we go back into the car because it is a busy night and there's no seats for me to sit down and wait. It's been a long day and I cannot like be able to stand any much longer. So, because of this, we go and sit in my car. Again, this is my car. This is not my husband's car. whatever. It is registered under my name. But my husband is the one who's driving it because I could not drive at that time. So, but he is on the insurance, if anyone is asking. Again, it's none of anyone's freaking business. So we get in there and we sit down in the car because we are parked in front in the handicap spot and are able to sit there with the number waiting for us to be called. Anyway, so the lovely cop decided to knock on the window and ask if we have a handicap placard. I said yes, because it's right there. And so my husband hands it to him. He said, well, whose is this? And you can tell, like, by his voice that he's very aggressive and agitated. So it's not off to the great start. You gotta understand where I'm coming from. I have every guy on my side of the family, actually both sides of my family, are police officers. I don't have a thing against police officers. I know they're doing their job. I understand that. I have a problem when I'm being discriminated against and I'm being talked to a certain way because you think that I'm doing something wrong, whatever, or all sorts of different things. So that's what I have a problem with. Okay. And yeah. So the guy is very aggressive and asks us about the disabled placard. Okay, here's the placard. Leaves with the placard, whatever, comes back and says, well, there's supposed to be some paperwork that comes with this. Whatever. And I said, okay, well, I'll try to find it. My car's a mess. I understand. I'm trying to sit there and find it, whatever. And during this time, he is very impatient and kind of looking at my husband and saying, well, you know, you should have this available, which I understand, again, I should have available. He said, obviously, you aren't handicapped. Said something like that. And is very, very aggressive, again. And I'm sitting there shaking. I know that I'm, like, being discriminated against because I don't have a wheelchair. If I would have walked out of there with a wheelchair or gone out of there with a wheelchair, whatever, it wouldn't have been a problem. Or if I would have been an elderly person, which is, he clearly stated afterwards, it would have been different. But because I was younger looking, again, I don't look my age, I was treated differently. And so was my husband. So anyway, he was very aggressive about the whole thing. When I wasn't able to find the paperwork, which I was able to find it by the time I was able to find it, whatever, he had asked for my license. So I brought out my license, whatever, and gave it to him. And my cat is eating my plant. He took my license and left and went to go check on it. And this whole entire time, we're not being rude or anything like that. We're being very compliant. We understand he's doing his job. I just don't like being treated a certain way, or being spoken to rudely, or being acted like I'm doing something wrong when I'm not. Anyway, so he comes back and he says, well, you know, a lot of people just end up stealing their grandmother's placards. and hands my license back and leaves. No apologies, nothing. And again, my husband and I are not young. We don't have grandparents. I mean, I have one grandmother, but that's about all of my grandparents that are left. So we don't have grandparents to steal placards from. So that kind of stigma of that kind of thing is a little ridiculous. I do understand that this happens. I've actually had one of my placards a couple years ago stolen from the mail. I know this certain system is in place to prevent that kind of stuff, but I don't appreciate being treated a certain way by a cop who is basically discriminating against the way I look. So again, I believe that if you are an officer, that if you believe someone is doing this, then you politely ask. That kind of stuff. You don't just assume and get aggressive. I don't know how to say it any clearer. But man, guys, the hate. Yeah. The crazy ableist kind of comments that I've seen from both the disabled community and the able-bodied community is just insane. This is why I try to advocate for things like this, for people with invisible disabilities and everything, because this stuff's not okay. Whether it's from someone on the street, whatever, who's making a comment about a handicap placard, or someone using something like a handicap thing at Disneyland, or a cop making assumptions. Guys, it's not okay. You know, it's not okay to make comments about someone's disability or assumptions. You don't know their whole story. You have no idea what I've gone through in my life. Doctors give out handicap placards for a reason. I'm sorry that you feel like they just hand them out to anyone, but there is usually a good reason why. So please stop assuming. Again, I'm not the only person who's gone through this. I know others in the chronic illness, the invisible illness community have gone through this as well. So I think that's all for right now, but I can't say that my rant is over. You'll probably hear more about it later. So, because like I said, I'm not done, and you guys are not gonna quiet me. Like, all of these comments that are coming from everywhere on my page or whatever, that are coming from Yahoo and the Mighty and everything, I am not gonna quiet because of it. You guys don't know my story, and if you paid attention to my actual stuff, for my actual advocacy, maybe you know a little bit more about my story. And I hope this opens up more for other people out there who have issues, who have dealt with things like this, because like I said, it's not okay. It's not okay for people in law enforcement to act, like that. like I said, it would have been water under the bridge if the officer would have been like, hey, you know, whose handicap placard is that? Oh, it's yours. Can I just cross-reference it or whatever? I need to make sure that, you know, that's yours. Oh, yeah, sure. Here you go. But no, it was done in an aggressive manner. And then I wasn't apologized for how he responded, whatever, how he acted towards me. So, yeah, that's why the article was posted. So, thank you, everyone. And, yeah.